In a burst of pure pain, I screamed, "If you can't be here for me now, you don't want to be with me. Just give me the divorce." And he did, just like that. After that, I took revenge that he could not imagine. They say grief is love with nowhere to go. But what happens when you're grieving a parent and the person who promised to hold your hand through the fire decides to pour gasoline on it instead? I'm 27, I'm divorced, and I am heartbroken, but not for the reasons you might think. Let me take you back to May, just a few months ago. My husband and I, let's call him Zaid, we had a love marriage. We were married for 3 years. We were the couple everyone looked at and smiled. We talked about baby names. We built a home. Then the world stopped. My dad, my hero, was unexpectedly diagnosed with stage 4 cancer. If you've ever dealt with cancer, you know it doesn't just attack the body, it attacks the whole family. I had to step up. I had to become the caregiver. I knew this would take a toll on my marriage, so I sat Zaid down. I remember holding his hands, looking into his eyes, and saying, "Please give me grace. I'm going to be difficult. I'm going to be sad. I'm scared of losing him. Please just hold space for me." He nodded. He looked supportive. He said all the right things. In July, my family had a massive holiday booked, 40 people. A celebration of life, really. Zaid and I decided to go. It was bittersweet, but we needed it. But a few days before the trip ended, Zaid said he had to leave early. "Work commitments," he said. "Important meetings." I didn't think twice. I trusted him. I landed back in England a few days later, exhausted but happy to be home. My phone pinged. An Instagram request. It was a girl. We had a few mutual followers. My stomach dropped before I even opened the message. She wrote, "Hey, I think you should know, I met your husband at the gym a month ago. He told me he was divorced. He said he wanted to marry me." I froze. She didn't just have words, she had receipts. Screenshots of Snapchat conversations, photos of them on drives, selfies he took in his car, our car, sent to her. I confronted him. I was shaking, devastated. And you know what he said. He didn't cry, he didn't beg. He looked me in the eye and admitted it with a twist. "It wasn't emotional," he said. "I was using her. It's for a fraud thing I'm doing. I needed her details." He wouldn't go into specifics. He made it sound like some dark financial scheme, like he was a criminal mastermind, not a cheater. And God help me, I was so overwhelmed with my dad's chemo and the appointments, I couldn't process it. My brain just shut down. I decided to believe the lie because the truth was too heavy to carry alongside my grief. I said I would forgive him. But forgiveness wasn't what he wanted. He wanted control. A few days later, the man I married vanished. In his place was a stranger who weaponized religion. He turned around and said, "If you don't start wearing the hijab, and if you don't start cooking and cleaning more, I don't want to be with you." I was shocked. I'm a modern woman. I have a high-level job at a big company. I'm ambitious. I work remotely. Suddenly, he had a list of demands that read like a prison sentence. I had to quit the job I worked so hard for. I had to cook every single day, even if he wasn't eating. I had to wake up and make him breakfast, even though he wakes up 15 minutes before his shift. I couldn't leave the house, not even for a walk or a shop, without his permission. I couldn't see my friends unless they came to us. I had to be indoors by sunset, even if I was at my parents' house just 15 minutes away. And I had to change gyms to a women-only facility. It felt orchestrated, especially since the girl he was caught with, she was a hijabi. It felt like he was trying to mold me into her. August was hell, absolute hell. I refused to quit my job. I refused to be controlled. This resulted in screaming matches. He turned off his location, something we'd shared for years. He started staying out until 2 or 3 a.m., offering no explanation. When he was home, he yelled at me, even when I did try to cook or wear the hijab to appease him. Nothing was enough. It came to a head at the end of August, a huge blow-up. He pushed me, he threatened me. The fear was physical, cold, and sharp. I called the police. I didn't press charges. Maybe I should have, but his brothers came and moved his things out. You would think that would be the end. But for the next 3 months, from September to November, I was stuck in this toxic limbo. I was desperate to save the marriage. Why? Because I was losing my dad, and I couldn't bear to lose my husband, too. We met up, we'd sit in our house, and he'd act like nothing happened. We'd joke, we'd flirt, we'd go on dates, we even agreed on compromises. But he refused to move back in. He kept me on a hook, dangling hope in front of me, then pulling it away. Then came the end of November. The doctors told us the news. The cancer had spread. My dad only had a few weeks to live. I fell apart. I rang Zaid. I was sobbing. I begged him. "Please," I said, "put our issues aside just for a few weeks. Just be here for me. Hold me while I lose him. We can sort the rest later." He refused, cold, detached. In a burst of pure pain, I screamed, "If you can't be here for me now, you don't want to be with me. Just give me the divorce." And he did, just like that. A couple of days later, while I'm watching my father fade away, Zaid starts texting me. Not to ask how I am, but to ask for his wedding gold back. He demanded I move my stuff out of the house. But then the mind games continued. He called me a few days after that. We spoke for 2 hours. It was like old times. He comforted me about my dad. He told me, "I'll never find anyone like you again. I hate how this worked out." I went asleep that night feeling a tiny spark of hope. Maybe, after the grief passes, we could fix this. The next morning, he rang me screaming, demanding the gold ASAP, threatening to put all the bills in my name if I didn't hand it over. The whiplash was making me dizzy. And then the truth came out. I was sent a video, a very clear high-definition video. It was Zaid, in public, linking arms with a girl, looking cozy, looking in love. It was the same girl from the beginning, the Instagram girl. I sent it to him. He called me a psycho. He said it was some girl from Muzz, a dating app, and that he was single now, so I couldn't say anything. But I dug deeper. I found out he had been seen at the gym with her 2 weeks prior, while we were still married, while he was flirting with me, while he was telling me he'd never find anyone like me. And here is the kicker. That girl, she is an alima, a religious scholar. She knew he was married. She knew everything. All the demands for me to wear hijab, to stop working, to stay indoors. It wasn't about religion. It was about her. He was trying to force me to become her, and when I wouldn't, he punished me for it. He is currently telling everyone my allegations are fake. He's denying the video evidence to my family. He refuses to take blame. He abandoned me while my father is dying, all for a lie. I sat by my father's bedside yesterday. He was sleeping, his breathing shallow. I looked at his hands, the hands that raised me to be independent, ambitious, and strong, and I realized something. My dad didn't raise a victim, and he certainly didn't raise a fool. Zaid thinks he's one. He thinks he can walk away with his reputation, his alima, girlfriend, and his gold, leaving me broken in the wreckage of my life. He forgot one thing. He forgot about the fraud. Remember in July, when he got caught the first time, he admitted to my face that he was using that girl for fraud. He admitted he was involved in financial crimes. He thought that excuse was better than admitting to an affair. Well, Zaid, let's talk about that. I wiped my tears. I picked up my phone and I stopped crying. Step 1, the gold trap. I texted him, "You can have the gold. Come to the house tomorrow. I want this over." He arrived smug. He thought I was defeated. I had a bag on the table. But before I gave it to him, I said, "I need to know the truth, Zaid, for my own closure. That fraud thing you mentioned in July, was that real? Or was it just to cover up the affair?" He laughed. He was so confident, so arrogant. He wanted to hurt me. "It was both," he said. "I made 15 grand off that scheme using her accounts. And yeah, I was sleeping with her too. I got paid and I got laid. Are you happy now?" I nodded. "Yes, I am." I pointed to the corner of the room. The blinking light of the indoor security camera he insisted we install for safety. It records audio perfectly. His face went pale. Step 2, the financial ruin. I didn't give him the gold. I gave the recording to the fraud department at his bank and the police. Turns out, confessing to financial fraud on tape is pretty damning. His accounts were frozen within 48 hours. The work commitments he left the holiday for, he was using company resources for his scheme. I forwarded the relevant parts of the recording to his HR department. He was fired immediately for gross misconduct. Step 3, the reputation. He loves his image, doesn't he? Mr. Pious. Mr. You must wear a hijab. I took the video of them linking arms, the screenshots of his texts, and the timeline proving he was dating this Alima while married to me. I didn't post it on social media. That's messy. No, I went to the source. I arranged a meeting with the head of the madrasa where she teaches and where he has been attending prayers, pretending to be a saint. I laid it all out. The adultery, the manipulation, the fact that their Alima was knowingly dating a married man while his father-in-law was dying of cancer. In our community, reputation is currency, and I just bankrupted him. Last I heard, the girl was dismissed from her teaching position for moral misconduct. Her family has forbidden her from seeing him now that his finances are frozen and his reputation is in the gutter. Zaid is living in a rented room. No job, no girl, no gold, no wife. My dad passed away peacefully 3 days ago. He didn't get to walk me down the aisle again, no. But he died knowing his daughter was strong enough to stand on her own 2 feet. Zaid tried to call me yesterday from a new number, crying, blaming me for ruining his life. I didn't say a word, I just blocked him. I am 27, I am divorced, I am heartbroken, but I am free, and I kept the gold.